Well, it was too little too late, and it is too good to be true. Disney brings Luke Skywalker back. They admit defeat, but only marginally, because it's a limited time affair. Very, very funny. Very, very funny. So here's an update on this whole Luke Skywalker situation. I did the other video where I sort of revealed, I didn't reveal it, I brought it to your attention anyway, that Luke Skywalker was coming to, the Disney parks again. He was coming to the Disney parks. Yeah, it only took them God knows how many years. Well, here's an update. They have now confirmed and revealed that it's only for a limited time, guys. It's only for a limited time. Can only have Luke Skywalker for a limited time. Now, a lot of people don't care anyway, because of course Mark Hamill has... Well, he's gone mental, hasn't he, really? So people don't really give a shit about Luke Skywalker these days, but some people do. And so people will be quite perturbed by this. But there is another angle to look at, which I'll get to in a minute. So hit subscribe if you're new here, or indeed you're a returning viewer that's not yet subscribed. I'll leave this article link down below that I'm going to be following on through. But, again, there's a different angle to take here, and I think it's going to be an interesting one. So, Disney brings Luke Skywalker to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge theme park land in Disneyland only as part of a limited time event. Now that is obviously crap, right? That's garbage. So Disneyland is once again getting exclusive Star Wars content, and this time it's what fans have wanted from the start: Luke Skywalker in Galaxy's Edge. I've been saying this many, many times, that this is what they should have done with the Galactic Star Cruiser as well. Just repurposed it, but they're idiots. So, whatever. So it says this, don't get too excited. This isn't a permanent addition. Instead, Disney is only allowing Luke to appear at Disneyland for a limited time as part of the Season of the Force event. Meanwhile, Walt Disney World, the company's biggest cash cow, continues to get shortchanged when it comes to Galaxy's Edge offerings. So, since its inception, Galaxy's Edge has been anchored in the unpopular sequel trilogy, restricting which characters could appear in the land. Imagineer Scott Trowbridge once explained, this is quite interesting actually, while we as visitors may be able to experience different stories throughout Star Wars history, the characters on Batuu cannot. They will remain in their specific story and timeline and won't intersect with other characters or stories that would not be appropriate for them. Batuu is this fictional land that Galaxy's Edge is set in. And time period as well. Which is a really dumb thing, right? That's dumb. It is dumb. It's an immersive land, so they must be... No, you can just tell them. You can just retrain them, couldn't you? I mean, it's not difficult. Right, that is dumb. That is a contrarian way to go about it. It's like, well, here's just this thing. We can't change it because reasons. Because who? Well, because, unfortunately, we've put this upon ourselves. Well, I mean, you could just undo it, couldn't you? No. I mean, you could. Idiots. Absolute idiots. So, this rigid approach has meant that major characters from the original and prequel trilogies like Darth Vader, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Obi-Wan Kenobi have been excluded from Galaxy's Edge. Even though the sequel films have struggled to maintain a strong fan base, Disney has refused to adapt, instead doubling down on its exclusive focus on the era of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, because they're dumb. However, cracks in that approach have been forming. Both parks introduced the Mandalorian and Grogu to Galaxy's Edge, and a new Mandalorian storyline is coming to the Smuggler's Run attraction. But since the Mandalorian always keeps his helmet on and Grogu's species ages slowly, this could be explained away as the two characters continuing on into the sequel trilogy time period. So, Disneyland has also introduced Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Ahsoka Tano, Chopper, and Sabine Wren, all characters that exist outside the sequel trilogy's timeline. So what's this? Well, look. Skywalker finally arrives, but only in California. So starting March 28th, Disneyland will introduce a new projection show, Shadows of Memory, a Skywalker saga, which will light up the spars of Batuu with imagery from Star Wars history. More importantly, a shadowy visitor wearing Jedi robes will appear in the land, heavily implying that Luke Skywalker himself will finally make an appearance at Galaxy's Edge. However, this is being billed as a temporary experience, meaning fans have to scramble to Disneyland before Disney inevitably removes what is arguably the most requested Star Wars character from the land. And interestingly, this does follow a pattern where Disneyland gets Galaxy's Edge exclusives while Walt Disney World gets nothing. As mentioned before, California has already seen appearances from Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Ahsoka Tano, Hers Syndulla, Chopper, Sabine Wren, none of whom have ever set foot in Florida's version of Batuu, which is dumb. You can see some of it here, look. Yeah, sure, fine. So Luke Skywalker is being relegated to Disneyland as part of a seasonal event. It's clearer than ever that Disney is unwilling to give fans what they actually want in any meaningful or permanent way. So the company's biggest money-making resort is once again being left behind, which is a weird thing to do, but yeah. While Disneyland keeps getting new characters and enhancements to make the land feel more alive, Walt Disney World's Galaxy's Edge remains frozen in time despite its larger crowds and importance to Disney's bottom line. Florida has been consistently passed over for the character appearances that make Galaxy's Edge actually feel like Star Wars. And they say this anyway in this article. It's not entirely surprising when you consider one very important fact. Well, what is that important fact? When characters are added, Disney's insistence on maintaining an in-universe experience makes these encounters frustrating for guests. Instead of a standard meet and greet where fans can line up and get their picture taken, Galaxy's Edge forces characters to wander the land, leading to chaos. Crowds form instantly whenever a popular character appears, blocking pathways and turning the experience into a free-for-all where only the most aggressive guests get their moment. This has already been a problem with Mandalorian and Grogu, Ahsoka, and more. The addition of Luke, especially as a temporary hyped-up experience, is only going to make things worse. It's not a problem for Rey or Kylo Ren there. That's hilarious. So they seem to think that they're keeping them away from sort of, you know, the larger one in Florida, Walt Disney World, and pushing them to Disneyland because they're the crowds. But there's two other ways of looking at this. One, they're trying to get Disneyland up, right, up to scratch to match Walt Disney World. So there's that angle. Could be true. I see that as business logic, to be fair. The second thing is they may be test running it. I doubt it, though, but they may be test running it. Here's the alternative way of looking at things, is that they're test running it to roll it out. All of these things have been test run to see how they're handled with smaller crowds, smaller, less eyes on, you know, on the sort of situation. Anything goes wrong, less eyes to see it, etc. It could be a testing ground, a means testing ground to then roll it out further down the line. I doubt that is the case, but that's just being very, very like optimistically looking at an alternative angle here, which could be the case, but who knows. Either way, this is super, super dumb to only bring them around for a very short period of time. It's super, super dumb to have in-universe characters that are just there permanently, and that's the only universe that they go, and you've arbitrarily set it so you can never distance from that. It's just dumb. It's dumb. People who wanted to go to Galaxy's Edge have been to Galaxy's Edge now. It's been out for years. Change it up. Like, it's not, just change it up. Change up the time period now. Do it. You got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it new. Change up the time period. Just do it. And maybe this is part of that. Who knows? But there you go. They have admitted defeat, but only briefly. Only briefly. What do you guys think? Love to hear your thoughts. Does this mean we're going to get, you know, better movies and things like that? No, of course not. Obviously not. This is just a money-making scheme, but it is interesting nonetheless. So, leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.